Yo, Steven, what is up? Should we just get into it? I think so. Look at what we have here. We have a lonely tree all by itself. So we did the bark, the canopy, the trees, first layer of the metal, first of the layers of the bones. And we're just going to get stuck in there picking out some detail now. We've still got the claws and everything to pick out there. Of course, the base. Still got a bit to chip away at, but we're just chilling with the boys. I love the canopy. Have you played against the Lonely Tree yet? No. So I'm actually making this, I'm actually doing this right now because one of the Kingdom Death campaigns that I'm running, they've actually gotten to the Lonely Tree. So I wasn't expecting them to draw into it so quickly, but literally Lantern Year 2. And they're like, how about Lonely Tree? How about we just fuck around and actually draw the Lonely Tree event while hunting a fucking level 1 white lion? And then those crazy bastards, they have the chutzpah to be like, yeah, we could probably take this on, right? We could probably just do this showdown. We could probably just eat the fruit now. It's probably not going to be that bad. At like literally Lantern Year 2. It's not gonna be like that, partner. But there's only one way for them to learn, you know? I don't know. Do you think a Lantern Year 2 civilization can actually handle the Lonely Tree? I think it's really doubtful. God, this bone color, real good over black. Real good. Yeah. I tend to agree with you, Stephen. I don't think the level 1 party's up to it, but I'm gonna let him try. God damn, I'm gonna let him try. I'm playing as the scout in that campaign, so I'm just kind of like there to pick up the pieces. I'll just let them kind of bang their head against the Lonely Tree until they learn their lesson. So this bone color, the plan is after I've done another layer here, we're going to be, after that dries, we're going to be doing a bit of skeleton horde contrast on that one, and then we'll highlight it back up from that down shading. Should be fun. Should be fun. And you know these paints are thin as hell. Also, I haven't dropped it more than once. Kind of unreal considering how awkward this model is. Kind of crazy. Imagine we go this whole stream without me dropping it a single other time. Has that ever been done? Would that be a world first? Man, this paint from being on the palette has picked up so much fucking moisture overnight. I'm painting with fucking bone-colored water. Hell yeah. All right. We might get in there and we might do a little bit of work with the Nuln Oil on the chains. So we're going to, in keeping with everything else here, we're going to keep this like pretty drab, pretty grungy. You know what I mean? All right, where is my Nuln Oil? I had you here. Don't you hide from me, baby. You know it's me. All right. I'm gonna go straight out of the pot on this one, like a goddamn animal. Where did I put that brush, dog? I had it right here. Where did I put that brush? There it is. Okay. We got it. We got it. How's the Baldur's Gate run coming? Dude, Baldur's Gate run is on temporary hiatus, and do you know why? It will come back. Like, don't get me wrong. We're definitely getting back into it, but it's on temporary hiatus because my co-host had the audacity to have a fucking family holiday. Can you believe it? I, for one, am shocked. He's going like all around Ireland. So yeah, until then, because it's 2-player, and he's kind of important, you know, as much shit as I give him. Until then, he's we're on a little Baldur's Gate break. Hence a lot more of the painting, Kingdom Death, and other solo stuff content for a while. Which, to be honest, I've got so much Kingdom Death backlog. It's like the grey plastic is taunting me, and I must subdue it. I know you're like the #1 Baldur's Gate boy, Steven. You're always there in those streams. It's good shit. Seeing us flounder around with a randomizer. So yeah, I'm just downshading these chains with the Nuln Oil here. Giving them a good wash. Undiluted Nuln Oil, bro. Is there anything more satisfying in this world? You want to be pretty heavy-handed with this if I'm making these chains like as like dark as I want them to, because the Nuln Oil will dry suspiciously clear. So initially, I'm going to be pretty heavy because I want these to be like dark, rusty sort of chains. I don't want this to look pristine. We're only going to pick out a couple of little bits here as well with the highlights. So I'm keeping a lot of the metal like really well. That being said, around the lanterns, when we do the glazing up for the glow on the lanterns, we will be doing a little bit more. But the plain chains, they're going to be pretty dark. Pretty dark. I reckon I go this entire stream without dropping this thing again. You just watch. Okay. I think that's one branch completely nulled. Nulled to the core. Yeah, the last shade on the canopy. I'll probably, the only thing I'll add to this canopy is I'll probably hit it with a matte varnish right at the very, very end. But aside from that, the canopy is where I want it to be. Just for this level of like painting, like tabletop ready. Alright, fuck it. Let's do the most chains aside from that. Let's do the other big branch with heaps and heaps of chains. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm using a just a Citadel basing brush, or layering brush. Layering brush. This is my like beater. This is the workhorse because it's got enough body to it to actually like hold a bit of paint or a bit of wash. I beat the fuck out of it enough for it to actually hold a lot of that wash as well, so it probably wasn't as absorbent when it was in its prime. But this is my either washes, or I'm not sure how this is going to go. When I need a thirsty little boy, this is the brush I reach for. It's good for glazes and washes though. It really is. And to be fair, I got this brush like 10 years ago. Like, I hang a lot of shit on Citadel, man, but I don't know, that's pretty good brush life right there. What is this brush, actually? Standard. Yeah, literally just the Citadel standard brush. Like the actual just bog standard brush. Do they even make this anymore? I got it so long ago. I would have gotten this potentially. Fuck, was it even in the 2000s? I might have had this for like 20 years. That's haunting. That's not a statistic I like thinking about, actually. Fucking unk status there. Brush doxed. Alright, there's a nice little metal shield down here as well. We'll hit that with a tasteful run of Nuln Oil. Now, shields like this have a tendency for the Nuln Oil to pool right at the bottom. I don't necessarily hate that, because I'm going to be doing most of the shading from this lantern, like in this area here. Shading. Most of the glow from that lantern. Apologies. So I don't necessarily hate that shield doing that. Stephen, you got a #1 badge, my friend. I don't know if you're still there. I know you have a tendency to watch this shit whilst at work. It's okay, I'm not telling anyone. Always welcome to chill out. But yeah, you got a #1 fan badge, my man. That means that you've got to go to war for us. Yeah, against the ops. You're our chosen champion. When someone challenges the channel to trial by combat, I'm going to nominate you. Hell yeah. God, just even doing this to the chains, it just blends it so much better with the, like, the grungy dinginess of the actual tree. Looks so much better already. Haven't even, literally haven't done anything. I'm like, oh, it's made such a big change. It's like literally the easiest addition that I have to do tonight. Okay, got a little bit trigger happy with the Nuln Oil on that application right there. It's alright, we just moved that shit around. Use that super thirsty brush. It's a thirsty little brush. It's you, Citadel standard brush. That's right. Thirsty little girl. Okay, that's better. Okay, alright. Next branch, please. So, done this one. Yes. Done this one. Let's keep moving our way across. This is the chain that I seamlessly repaired. Oh, I didn't even paint the lantern. Dog. This is crazy. Diabolical work. I'm my own biggest fucking op. This is crazy. I'm literally holding myself back. Okay, whatever. I'll do that later. Just straight up forget to paint the bottom of the lantern. Or even like most of the lantern with a base coat. That's cool. That's cool. In my defense, there is a lot of like stuff on this tree. She got bling for days. Yeah, these little goblets I'm going to be painting with to look kind of like copper. So we'll do them separately. Alright. Next branch. Two more little branch systems to go. Oh, this one's a thirsty one too. Look at how much fucking Nuln Oil I'm gonna have to put on that. Die. Okay. Did I do these lanterns as well? Barely. Dog, I was not paying attention to the lanterns. I was just like, yeah, they're fine. They're a lantern there. Yeah, I'll fix it later. Literally just no attention to the lanterns at all. All good, bro. We'll get them later. Man, there's a lot of lanterns on this branch. We're getting to that point in the paint job where in a couple more stages here, we're going to be doing shit that's going to make it absolutely sing. And I'm so keen. Like, I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get this lantern under control, huh? Whoa. He's got a big leather tongue on the back. Did not see that. Alright, I think we've only got one branch to go. Oh, and it's this one. Yeah, I remember you. Nasty branch. Nasty little one. The other side of this is going to be really annoying to reach. But that's okay. We'll get there, I believe. Oh, so satisfying. Nice big link of chain there. Get some Nuln Oil up here. Yeah, this is going to be the tough part. All right, let's get to it. Premium viewing angle right here. Premium watching experience. Yeah. Okay. That should just about do me. Nice. Alright, and we're back at the start. Cool. Alright, now I have the... Ooh, that's a lot of fucking Nuln Oil. Holy shit. Let me go over and get rid of some of that with a drier brush. A drier touch. Okay, that should have been enough to dry that out. You've got to be, like, you can rinse your paintbrush off, but then I find you got to hold it in, like, paper towel for a good minute before you go around and try and, like, soak up any extra. Yeah, see, even then, it's not... I might get a completely different brush here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Resort to the makeup brushes, baby. That's got a good bit of soak to it. So what we're doing is we're going into these areas where the Nuln Oil has pooled. And I'm just soaking that bad boy up so that she doesn't create an unnecessary amount of negative... I call it negative shade. It's just shadow. Negative highlight. Yeah, that's a great way of wording that. Like in here. Great example. See how much is pooled in there? We don't want that shit. I want to get rid of that. Look at that now. There's a good boy. All right. See, like around this shield, a shitload of that is pooled. I want some of it, but I don't want all of it. So just around like that. I actually don't mind that pooling there at the bottom, and I'll explain that later because it'll just make my highlighting a bit easier. Okay, good. We've gotten rid of all the extraneous Nuln Oil. You got to watch that, especially when you're working with unfettered Nuln Oil. All right, where's my skeleton horde? I got like a wall of paints beside me here. Still here, just working. Oh, thanks, Stephen. As I said, no pressure. I know your general jam. I know what you're about. You are the #1 in the ranks at the moment. Put some respect on the name. I'm not going to thin down this skeleton horde either because I want this to be quite aggressive. You know, I almost used this as a, instead of dry brushing, I almost used Skeleton Horde and a bunch of different, well, from a grey base coat as the bark for the base of the bark. But I was like, nah, it's not going to give me the texture that I want. Because the whole point around using the forbidden dry brush was to get the like that texturing on the tree. And I'm glad I didn't go that direction. Also, I was just doing that because it's lazy. And I'm like, well, it's only got to be tabletop standard. So where there's Nuln Oil involved as well, I'm being pretty careful with the brush strokes that are close to both of those. Because Nuln Oil will fuck your shit up if you're using Skeleton Horde. That is not the same. That is not a good blend right there. That is a no sir from me. Skeleton Horde literally made Tomb Kings just like completely no diff to tabletop standard. Like absolutely just give me the bone undercoat spray and Skeleton Horde and then a bone dry brush, bro. Done. That's all you need. And it doesn't even look bad. It's actually, it's kind of triggering. As someone who's painted an entire Tomb King's army for a commission. And the person was like, dog, just make it tabletop standard. This was pre-contrast paints. I was like, yeah, all right, it's not that hard. But now it would have been, that shit would have been done by fucking tomorrow afternoon. You want 3,000 points of Tomb Kings? No problem, boss. Give me 45 minutes and a Jack Daniels. Ooh, don't think I've forgotten about you, you disobedient little bit of skeleton behind here. Think you can sneak... I know this is the first place people look when they pick up the model, too. Alright. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That big broken jaw is going to look real good picked out in Skeleton Horde. Hell yeah. Again, just being really careful around that Nuln Oil that is pooling up there. I'm not too worried about that pooling though, because it's quite an easy one for us to get rid of. All right, let's get this contrast under control. Let's not have like a fucking mass amount of it pooling in all the shit places. That's actually not too bad. Not bad at all. Not too bad. Not too bad. You know what? I think we paint some gold or some leather. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood. You know what? I'm going to do gold. Well, not gold, brass. Let's paint some goblets. Let's paint some fucking goblets, huh? What am I going to use for that? I'm going to use a layer of Skullcrusher brass, Citadel color. Citadel and Vallejo at the moment, just doing like absolute fucking battle against each other here. Trying to reign supreme on my palette. Vallejo, actually, how many paints have I got out from each one here? It's pretty close. I gotta say, it's pretty close. Usually my palette is dominated by Vallejo. I'm a Vallejo apologist. They did nothing wrong. Thin that shit down. Thin that down. Papa wants a thin brass paint. Okay. Good stuff. You know what? I'm going to get out a... what is this? This is the Tabletop AK Interactive Synthetic. Or as I call him, the Excalibur. You paint fucking anything with this. Alright, let's get in there. God, this is so easy to layer over black. Holy shit. After painting all these other rinky-dink colors, this is crazy. Now, I'm not too worried about painting any of the, like, bandages or binding or anything like that now. Any of the, like, ropes, stuff like that. I'll be painting that pretty much right at the very end. Because we'll probably, to get this done quick with the brass, probably going to hit it with a an Agrax Earthshade, and then layer it up again with Skullcrusher Brass, and maybe just a touch of silver. If they're near the lanterns, of course, I'll be putting some glow on them. Man, I can't wait to paint those claws as well. That's going to be so fucking good. The talons are going to make it look so good, and I have to wait till right at the end to paint it. It's very frustrating. I'm sitting in the cuck chair of my own paint job. Come on, baby. There we go. Alright, that should be those ones. With the exception of this top part. Now we're painting this here now while the Skeleton Horde and the Nuln Oil is drying, because we will then move on to painting the wash over these and do the other things while they are drying. So it's a little thing of balancing act here. There's going to be parts like this where I'm probably going to also do the leather before I do the Agrax, because I'm going to do that over the leather as well. We could use the leather contrast paint. However, I don't like the leather effect that gives. I prefer it for, like, well, we used it on the leaves. So I prefer it for that sort of thing. But not on actual leather. Is that strange? Like, here's this beautiful speed paint for leather. Best I can do is trees, boss. Never underestimate how much these little fucking trinkets and shit make a difference, though. Like, the more subtle color, or the more small color that you can put in that doesn't distract from the fact that you're looking at a big gnarled tree, the more it's going to affect the end result of the model. Like, it's going to make it pop so much more. So don't be sleeping on these bits. Alright. Give me some more goblets to paint. Where are we? Oh, there's one up there. Look at him. He's just fucking sitting there waiting. Patiently. Patiently, no less. Yeah, if I wanted a more gold with this, I could have started from Retributor Armor. And then done the Agrax from there. And then layered it up with Skullcrusher Brass. And then a very, very bright silver. Probably one of the Vallejo metallics. But I want this to be more of a brass and less of a gold. Which sounds funny now because it's gold as hell. But have faith. It's such a trust the process thing. Like miniature painting. Holy shit. Very rarely, like halfway through a miniature, do I not feel like a very acute sense of failed suicide. Alright, there we go. Alright, give me the brass. Give me the brass. Oh, there's a couple more of them. Yes, sir. You thought you'd get away from me? Not a chance. I'll see you up there. Stephen, I hope my unhinged painting rambling is really helping you at whatever it is that you do for work. Oh, we love the fact that this is like chain right there. Love that. Good stuff. Had a professional kick painter in the kick chat last night, Stephen. You missed it. Rock painter. What was the name? Freaky Stones. That was it. Actual painter for a living. Not of like the same thing. But looked into some of their work. It's cool shit. Very unique idea. Love it when someone makes a living off something that's like non-standard, you know? From Peru, no less. We're Mr. Worldwide. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there with the goblets and shit. You know, one thing I will say, they weren't very imaginative with the, like, goblet sculpts here. Because it's just the same glass, or the same 3 glasses, like 5 times on the model. But, beggars can't be choosers. I didn't design it. I'm just here to paint it. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. Nice. All right, what else do we have to establish base color-wise? Let's do the leather. Let's do the leather. Enough waiting around, let's do the leather. Might have to send a tactical text message. Let me get out the leather first. Mordfang Brown by Citadel has to be one of the like most iconic Citadel paints, honestly. That shit is like top 2 best brown colors for like all situations, I swear. All right. Let's get this bad mamma jamma on the palette. Where are we even going to put this, dog? I have to change my palette soon. Where are we even going with this? Where are we even going? Because we're going to have to water this bad boy down. Sure, you can go right there. Oh, that's nowhere near enough. Papa's going to need more Mordfang Brown than that. That's more like it. You know we're going to thin the fuck out of it too. Who do you think you're talking to? I'm the paint thinner extraordinaire. I've never seen an acrylic paint I can't thin. If there's an acrylic paint out there that I can't thin, I haven't met it and thinned it yet. Alright, and while we've got all this excess on the brush, let's see if we can't find some big gnarly areas to put that on where I don't need much technique, like right here. Oh yeah. That's painting with this sort of brush is very unnerving. Oh dear. Oop. Okay, I'm kind of risking it for the biscuit on a couple of these, but it's okay. It's all right. Waste not paint. It's okay. If I slip with this brush, it's totally over. I bite my tongue off live. You got to watch with these big brushes as well. There's like a couple of reasons that you don't paint. Oh my god, that you don't paint with them in this stage of the model, and that is because Bristle Flick will fuck you up, bro. It will take you out back and bend you over the sink. Because it will just fucking flick paint everywhere. So you can't be very aggressive with how you put the paint on. You have to be very passive. Like if you create Bristle Flick here, guess what? You're flicking this brown onto every fucking piece of the model. Surely we get this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I've been, oh no, I think I've been relatively brave, but we've got a tiny bit of bravery left. Surely in here. Yes, sir. Oh, surely here. Brave and bold like a knight. Oh yeah. Look at all that saved paint, huh? And now I chuck it away. All right. That was totally worth the stress. All right, let's get our layer brush. Our Citadel layer brush. Or standard brush, whatever they're fucking calling it. Yeah, I'm definitely switching off this brush in a second. That is for sure. I just don't want to switch down to too small of a size brush, you know, because I don't want to have to feel like necking myself. But this one is too big. For certain areas. I might go around like I did with the comically oversized brush and just do as much as I can with this first. Nobody breathe, chat. Nobody breathe. Okay. Chat, we got him. We got him. All right. Let's go here. All right. Okay. There we go. Any other areas over here where I need a bit of that good? Yeah, right at the back. Yeah. There we go. How much of that did I get there? Back of the paintbrush into the microphone. We call that ASMR. That made a scratchy noise. You're welcome, everyone who just came. Call this long range painting. Gripping that shit by the hind quarters. Got a firm grip on the ass. Okay. See, like, even just picking out these base colors before we've done anything else to them on these brown areas is making such a massive difference. Like, it's actually looking so much more dynamic. Let's make sure we keep it that way. Okay. The metal is actually proving to show through the brown quite a bit. Yes, I know that I've watered the paint down a lot, but still. Got to water down your paints, bro. Otherwise, painting would be over too fast. No, it's legitimately so important. It's more important, I will say, with stuff like skins, which is my favorite thing to paint. Hence, we're painting a fucking tree. But yeah, if you don't water your paints down when you're painting skin on a miniature, that bitch gonna have some rough dermatitis, is all I'm saying. Let alone if you're painting like female skin. Dog. You get away with not thinning your paints if you're painting like an orc or an ogre. Maybe. But even then, it's just going to look like shit. You know those models that you see? Like eBay rescue shit? That's how those are created. Okay. You know, I said I was going to change off this brush. I lied. Kind of like it. It's making me pay attention. All right. That leather went well. All right, let's go back over to here. Let's hit these ones up. See what they're doing, huh? Oh man, that's a thick. She's thick. There's a thick leather strap right there. Damn. Damn. She's 3-dimensional. Thick with 2 C's for centimeters squared. I gotta wonder, how did the tree do this? Did it decorate itself? You know, like canonically? You'd think it does, right? Because the branches move. So this has got to be like its equivalent of like a wrapper chain, right? Does the tree have drip, chat? Is what I'm trying to say. You have a drippy tree on our hands. Is it getting a little oppy outside? Hell yeah. See, just adding even these like less muted browns. So we're not adding like an extreme color palette here. Like we've got browns and greens fucking everywhere here. But even just adding this in is making the the other colors just get in line and do their thing where they need to. It makes such a huge difference, these like splashes of color and detail. What are we doing in here? What are we doing in here? God, this is a bad way to hold this. So basically, you want to hold it at the part that makes it as shaky as humanly possible. We call that moving target painting. It's like stippling, except you're not moving the brush; you're moving the miniature. Yeah, it's a brand new technique I've made up. I had to put a base on this thing, but it's making it very, very hard to handle. Can't wait to paint something like Spidicules, which is just going to be like the most cancerous thing to maneuver and paint. Just a giant fucking spindly spider. Hell yeah. Oh, almost dropped it again, but I didn't. You guys are waiting to update that drop counter. The only thing you're going to be dropping is your jaw when I go flawlessly through this run. With this run of painting, without dropping this thing one more time. Okay, I think we've done that part. I'm just going to follow that leather strap, actually. I'm going to get the strap. Get the strap. Okay. And those would be leather too, actually, on that shield. The little, like, holder things. Arm fasteners. What are you calling those? What are we calling them? I don't know, but they're leather. Oh, damn. She's, like, layered with chains. This is where this brush might be a little bit too fat for our purposes. Or do I just need to get a better vantage? I just needed a better vantage. She still might be a little bit thick. We can make it work, surely. Oh, yeah. She's a big girl, but she's making it work. That's all right. Oh, that's definitely too fat for this. Yeah, I'm not even going to try that. Let's just stick it to our lane here. Let's not get too excited. Big girl is now out of breath. She can't do any more running. Already doing well past what we expected. It's crazy, like, bigger models like this, they come up so much better on stream cam. Like, in real life, the bigger models tend to look a little bit like more not as striking as the smaller, more detailed ones, with a lot of details packed in. But on camera, bro, forget about it. We got like we got the detail king over here. This model looks so much better on camera than some of the small speed paints I've done. Everyone's like, paint a monster on stream. Dog, why? I mean, I'll paint a tree. Best I can do is a tree. But it's not like this is, you know, the most exhilarating content in the world unless you're looking to just chill, which is cool. But fine, I'll paint your fucking monster. Oh yeah. Alright, we're gonna have to do a tricky angle on this one. It's alright, I got a bead on him. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, boy. Do it to him. You know what? Let's finish everything in this field of view first. Oh, cheeky little bit of overlapping. I kind of fuck with that. It's going to look so good when I highlight that. Holy shit. All right. Usually I'm doing like little waistbands and shit on the leather, but on this I'm actually going to be able to put a fucking meaty edge highlight onto him. Oh, it's this bad boy. It's this bad mamma jamma, this bit of leather over the lantern. Can't wait to hit that with just glow paint and have highlighted it all up and done all this work for nothing. Because that one's going to be blown the fuck out from that lantern. You know what's crazy there? The model just caught on my Fitbit. I almost just dropped it because it caught. It's one of its little fucking talons caught on my Fitbit. It's actually trying to get away from me. It will not succeed. Okay. All right. Is that another bit of... No. It's not. Okay, I was like, holy shit, how much leather is on this fucking one branch? But no, that's not leather. That's just a typical hashtag branch bulge. Kick boys, simply refresh. Simply refresh, dog. All your troubles will be solved. Oh yeah, premium viewing angle. I hope you're getting all this in. All right. Is that where I was just then? No. Holy shit, a lot of this leather is going to have a little tricky bit of access right here. Where do I put my finger rest in a situation like this, you know? Yeah, there's only been one part where this brush has been, like, too thick and I've just been like, absolutely not. Kind of impressed by it. Maybe I was too quick to judge the humble Citadel standard brush, you know? She's actually behaving pretty well. She handles like a precision brush. Surely this is synthetic. It doesn't feel synthetic though, which is crazy. I wouldn't have bought a hair brush though from Citadel. There's no way. Oh, dog, you can't be having the side of the leather fucking looking silver. What is this? Amateur hour? Okay. And I'm absolutely not getting in there with this brush. All right, so there's two places that I just couldn't access with this brush on this route. Just because she's so thick. So powerful, you know? All right, let's go over to here. This one's got a lot as well. And then I think we've done... Have we done most of it? Most of the leather? Maybe. Did I do this? I did. Okay, yeah. So we're only on this branch system and then we've got most of the leather done. Also got to paint the fruit for this tree. I'm not going to lie to you. I got no idea what I should do with the fruit. Because the fruit of this tree isn't like a papaya or like guava or or an apple. I don't know why I came to papaya and guava before apple, but just bear with me. The fruit of this tree is like when it eats something or someone, it creates the fruit, right? So like the fruit of this tree is like very much just dead bodies. So I'm not sure what the fruit should be painted like. I feel like I want to go with something like a little bit crazy, but still something that is like viscera coated, you know? Like still get some like deep crimsons and shit in there. Some blood effects even. God damn. Yeah, very rarely do I have to paint fruit. But even rarer do I have to paint fruit that is made from dead bodies. Okay, where's my purchase point going to be here? Going to be wedged between these little roots there. Perfect. Perfect. This tiny little nubbin of leather before it becomes chain. Interesting. Interesting. Oh man, it's actually getting spiky and annoying. Who would have thought? I keep running into the spikes of the branches. My tender fingers. Okay, surely. All right, this is premium viewing angle right here, chat. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope you see it all. Drink it in. Excellent. All right, let's get into that more delicate parts up in there. Don't let me forget to go back and actually paint the parts that this big thick boy couldn't get into. I have a tendency to do that. Just assume that I perfectly did all the painting and now I move on to the next thing. Okay. I'm liking being able to manhandle the tree a little more now that we don't have so many fucking leaves drying at the same time. I'm liking that I don't have to be careful of where my finger rest is. This is a huge positive. Man, these straps are thick, bro. There's some dense leather. It's like an entire hide. Ah, that's me. He did the thing, he said the album name. Alright, you want to gorilla grip this part. Excellent. Contemplating whether I should go and see the Odyssey. I don't know how that just came out of gorilla grip, but here we are. Sure, I'll hit that with a little leather too. Why not? Leave none behind. Great time for my eyes to just randomly unfocus there. That was really cool. Love when my body throws me little challenges like that, you know? Little speed run challenge. Okay, we got that leather painted. We're just going to do one little bit in there. Don't hit the leaves. Good shit. All right, and I suppose we're back down here. The glazing of the hand colors, I'm telling you, chat, it's gonna be sick. I'm actually really looking forward to that quite a lot. It's gonna be slow as fuck, don't get me wrong. But it is gonna look dope. I reckon it's gonna be like one of the biggest difference making parts of the entire piece. God damn. I always find it funny when someone like blows into the stream, and like a chill stream, like one of these, and is like, sees it, clicks on it, and then is like, nah. I'm like, dude, I'm not hiding anything in this title. Why would you even click on this? Like, I'm telling you exactly what this is. I'm painting the Lonely Tree. That's all it is. Ain't no false advertising going on here. Okay, that's actually made a huge difference. Just even adding this leather in, like, look at how that's changed. I haven't even done any of the detail, dude. This is making me more positive in the project. As I said, in every single project that I have, it's like, should I end it all? The project in Minecraft? And then something will happen and I'll be like, actually, I'm glad I stuck this out. We're almost there. We're not quite there. I'm not off the ledge just yet. Do not celebrate. Do not pass go yet. But we're getting there. We are definitely now... Because the fat lady wasn't singing, but she was definitely humming a few bars. Okay. I think that's all the leather on that side. Except for that. Okay, in there. I can get this with a big fat brush. I don't need my AK brush for this. Hell yeah. That'll show them. Take that, Jenny Craig. We use the fattest brush in the world. Jenny Craig's still a thing. I feel like there's not enough boomers left to utilize it, you know? Okay, so the only thing I've got to do is go in on that area there. And there's another area just behind this that I didn't do with this brush because she a big girl. She a big girl. Man, that's looking so much better already. Holy shit. So much better, dude. Come here, Lonely Tree. Come here. Alright. AK, you wouldn't fail me now. Oh, this is actually... I'm going to have to paint from range here. Coming in with the aerial support. From downtown on the paintbrush. Ooh, child. You know, that's one of the only mannerisms. That's one of the only, like, idioms that I don't know where it came from. Me saying ooh, child like that. I actually have no idea where I got that, but I have been saying it since I can remember. The trick shot, dog. The trick shot. Absolutely huge. I was having that think recently. I'm like, where did you come from Ooh, child. What part of my life led me to say that? And I was like, I ain't gonna lie to you, boss. I got no fucking idea where you got that. Okay. This is an interesting thing to paint. It's kind of prominent too. Kind of an AIDS angle right here. Kind of terrible. Damn, I'm tempted to just go straight through there. I might do that. Just the tip. Glad that this is an area I'm not going to really have to highlight. Because it's not going to show up too much light. Wait, is there a lantern above? Oh, there's a oh, wait, the lantern's blocked by... It's okay. Crisis averted. I was like, oh, fuck, there's a lantern right above it. But no, there is a lantern above it, but it's being cock-blocked by the branch. So I won't have to paint a highlight on that. All right. I think that is the leather-based. Hashtag based. Whoop. I believe it to be the leather. Done. Now, I do really got to send a tactical text message. I completely got carried away. So after this, because you see how the metal is drying, which really muted it down. Now we're going to bring that back up, essentially. But after that, I might even do a little bit of work on the gray basing before we do the... fuck, that's actually going to be really hard. Before we do the lanterns and also the base of the model. Like the skull, the stone faces. All right. Tactical text message has been deployed. We are... Bravo, Charlie. We are back on. Now, there are like leaves and vines here, which I probably will pick out separately too towards the end. But I'm using this as a purchase, so I don't particularly want to do anything with the base until I finish the top of the model. Which is my excuse for saying, all right, let's just do the gray on the lanterns for now. Oh, yeah, just nail my finger on the fucking mic stand while I'm shaking the paint. The streamer is a genius. Surely we rotate the palette. Get rotated, idiot. Get absolutely fucking rotated. Oh! Tried to take the paint off the... I dropped a Reikland Flesh Shade while it was open. Anyone who understands that would understand that what I said to you there was essentially saying I got dropped into fucking Vietnam. It was bad. Fortunately, I have like a towel on my seat because it gets fucking hot because I live in a really hot place. So it didn't affect me that much. But it still got all over my pants and shit, which was an interesting thing to explain. Yeah, this brush just ain't gonna cut it, Chief. I don't know what to say to you about this one, but goddamn. I'm so intent to not waste this paint. I just I don't want to fucking fuck it. I'm not gonna do that. Let me get my old faithful beater brush. You want to see the actual beater? This thing's done years in the trenches. Look at this. Look at this brush, bro. What is this? This is a Delta 942 Series Toray from China. It is done so much. The wood is starting to fail, bro. This is my ride or die. This is my like actual OG. Admittedly, I do use this for like basing, but it's a square brush. Like it's a square tipped brush, and it's very useful for like exactly this situation. Like filling in bulk spaces. Is that you, Ivor? No. I'm hallucinating. Cat's meowing. It's fine. Happens to the best of us. Now, I'm actually not too worried about the overflow from this basing before we do it in white. The reason being that we're going to be doing glow from these, so it's going to be a light source. So a lot of this is going to spill over into the surrounding paint already. So I'm going to have to be doing like, it's going to spill over into the metal, it's going to spill over onto the tree. So it's not super important to be neat, which is why I've got the most mangled paintbrush in human history out here. Scholars will write songs. Homer will write a new Odyssey about how mangled this fucking paintbrush is. Oh yeah. Now you probably noticed as well, I'm not picking out the metal details of the actual lantern like slats on this. These lanterns are really, really big. The light source comparatively to the slats is really, really big. Like these metal tubes that are supporting the lantern, the cage, they're going to be completely washed out by the internal light source. So I'm not even going to bother painting them. You'd be blind. You just simply would not be able to see them. So if we're creating a slightly more realistic light profile, that's how we're going to do it. Oh, that's right. This one's got a big leather fucking thing in the middle of it. And again, I'm not too worried about that that leather component because there's going to be substantial spill out from the glow here. Yes, this is just a base layer so that I don't have to paint multiple layers of white, because painting white is the worst thing in the hobby. Literally so terminal, I hate it so much. And I'm aware that like I've done 2 paint projects in a row where we've got substantial bits that need to be painted in white. This has not escaped me. That Ramette fur, even doing it the fast, lazy way, I was like, damn, man, people really do this shit? Crazy. I could just stop and no one would ever have to know. I could just not pick out every individual fucking tuft in white after painting it white the first time and then glazing it down. I could just not do that and be like exactly as happy, if not more happy, than I was before. But no. We did it anyway. Because Ramette is cute and we wanted to paint her properly. Wanted to do that shit justice. A little treat before nightmare, Ramette. If you haven't seen that model, it's its own treat. Don't you worry. Papa's gonna get his. Oh, there's a lantern all the way up there. Also going to paint the axe here. Just the stone portion. which will be the smile and the blade. I'll potentially go over that as well, just because it's tied in there. But we'll go over the actual tie component in a separate color. This is not going to be white. This is actually going to be grey. Gonna paint me up a stone axe. Is this Minecraft? God damn, stone axe. Best tree cutting thing there is, right? I will sometimes layer these areas up first in something like pink, depending on the color of the light or the color of the final layer that I want to put on here. In these, we want them to be like beacons, because these are going to be the only light source on the model. This model, being a Kingdom Death model, is situated in a space, a hypothetical space in Kingdom Death where there is no natural light. So that's why you will notice that the leaves, etc., there is no light source on them. There is no organic difference between where the light is coming from, because there is no organic light. Food for thought. Ah, yeah, nice little grey lantern. They look so cute in grey, I don't know why. Oh, I've already done this side? Huge! Save myself the trouble. Little gift from past me to current me, huh? Little presente. Alright. Surely we've only got 2 more lanterns to paint here. Surely. Oh, some of the more stubborn Nuln Oil is still not dry in there. She's still hydrated. The Nuln Oil is still sopping. I'm tempted to paint the claw tips on the ends of the branches, because I know they're going to look so sick. But I kind of want to save that for the very end. Oh, it's going to look so good. And they're so simple. Just like a couple of different layers of red and then a blood effect, and it's going to look so fucking sick. You don't even know. You have no idea. And that splash of red is going to make such a difference to this model. It's going to pick up the browns on that color wheel and just punch them right in the chin. Give them that little bit of pep in their step that they need. Hell yeah, bro. Get that Nuln Oil on there. All right. Good stuff, good stuff. I think that's all the lanterns. Now, I am going to currently use whatever is left on my palette of this grey to put it in the stone faces. I know this is going to bite me in the ass, because I know I'm going to want to grab these areas. So we're going to try and pick the least grabbable area, which is impossible, so I'm just going to go here. I just don't like wasting paint. What can I say? I do not like wasting perfectly good paint. And otherwise that shit's, there's so little of it, even on the wet palette, it's just going to go dry. We don't have to be too careful around the hands, I suppose, because we are going to paint those in a flesh color and then blend them back into the wood, which will be quite the blend. right, we're almost out. We are almost out of the Dawnstone. All right. It got a little bit done. All right. We didn't waste anything. There are children without paint wishing they could have that Dawnstone. So you better not waste it. You know what I'm saying? Starving children without paint. Okay. Now, where are we going to go from here? I want to try and put now the shade over the brass. That's what I'll do. Fetch me my shade. Where is that motherfucker hiding? Ah, there you are. I found you. So, Earthshade over this. I'm going to be using the, we'll see how long I can stay with the munted brush. No, I'm going to be using old Citadel Standard for this one. Because I'm going to be hitting that also over the brown. So we're going to do the brown down shade, fucking stupid terminology that I use. We're just going to be doing the wash over the brown and the brass at the same time, which makes this area right here extremely easy. Look at that. Beautiful. It's going to just start giving us a little bit of a base to actually work up from, because at the moment that brown particularly is kind of where I want to end it. So there's no real highlights to be had because it's the color that I want it to be, which is not. I could have started from a darker brown, but it's just a little bit faster considering what I want to do with this paint. I pick out the details between certain areas really, really quickly and easily. If I was painting this competition standard, I would be using no washes at all. But because I am painting this to be ready for the weekend, and I don't want to spend 100 hours on it, we are not doing that. It's that easy. It's that easy, baby. It just works. Now this on like straight bits of leather like this, I'm going to move this wash around extensively. I don't want like any big pools of it anywhere. It's okay to have like a little bit in the middle if I'm going to be edge highlighting, but I want this pretty well thin and separate. Now, washes are one of the only things where you don't have to thin them if you just move them enough. Moving them enough is the key. People think they're moving them enough. They are not moving them enough. You essentially want it to be almost like a glaze consistency by the time you finish moving it around, like almost nothing in the one spot. I'm incorporating a little bit of recess shading just around it, just while I'm here. May as well. It's just, it's good manners. Ivar, I don't know what you just did there. Yeah. Does that mean it's 8 o'clock and you've eaten? It does. Is that why you're being such a whiny boy? Come here, whiny boy. You can't see this, but Ivar is now right beside me. I wonder if you'll be able to hear him. Ivar. You gonna hit us with a little song of your people? Huh? Look how much difference that's made to the like tonality of that brown already. It's kind of what we're looking for, baby. Can't forget about the brass though. That's the whole reason we're here. And it just makes it look old and weathered, and it gives you a base to come back up from. Especially because this is quite bright. This brass gold is very bright to begin with. Not ideal as a base layer unless you do a pretty significant. That's why I'm not watering down this Agrax at all. Just want to hit that shit with everything it's got. Good. On to the next one. No leather on that branch. Hey man, stream's been good today. Oh, thank you. Alan Ramirez, did I get that right? If that's a first try, I'm a natural. Kick chat actually putting in some participation. Kick chat, it was all kick chat in the morning yesterday, and it was all YouTube chat in the evening yesterday. Oh man. Yeah, just got to keep these glaze layers. Oh, glaze. I'm saying they should behave like a glaze. Got to keep these wash layers moving. Especially when you're using unthinned washes. We want them to just downshade this leather a lot, but we don't want them to pool anywhere. Oh my god, I see a bit that I didn't paint. Huge. Massive. It's alright, I can do that as a highlight. Do I mostly play this game? Yeah, I switch things up quite a bit, to be honest. I don't think I've ever played Kingdom Death on stream. I mostly, game-wise, do variety. We have a randomizer Baldur's Gate run that has been ongoing for like a year, which has been really, really rough, but really fun. We've got Ratchet and Clank going at the moment, a blind playthrough of that. But we do Magic, Pokemon card unboxing, and we do painting. Kingdom Death I play, but if Kingdom Death on stream is, listen, there's only one channel that does that well, and it ain't me. It's actually a really small channel. I should plug it. Oh, playtest. Literally my favorite channel on YouTube. It's only got like 1,000 subscribers. That dude puts out primo content. Right. Still shading over the brass here. This is a fairly involved area for this, actually. Like, damn, there's a lot of goblets and a lot of leather on this branch. We are not going hungry on this one. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Love it when a plan comes together. Get that downshade there. Good stuff. It's going to be so rewarding when we shade this back up. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 step back, whatever. It works. It just works. Okay. Let's get up in these branches. Am I going to be able to do this with this bit of a fat boy brush? I think I might be able to. Let's move that across. Let's give everyone a good showing as I seamlessly and flawlessly paint wash over everything I shouldn't. Hell yeah. God, I'm almost ready to layer up those skulls as well. Man, that contrast paint, as I said, it made like painting skeleton-based things, Tomb Kings, anything like that, absolutely pointless. I cannot believe it came out like 6 months after I did an army commission for someone of Tomb Kings. Absolutely robbed me. I could have been sitting back living the dream, but instead I had to paint actual skeletons and use skill. Terrible, really. I have a Tomb King's Blood Bowl army. I should paint that just to demonstrate. I reckon I could paint the entire team in like 3 hours. Just using Skeleton Horde, just bone base Skeleton Horde, pick out detail. I'd even do NMM on the captains. Then done. These kids don't know how good they have it with these contrast paints. Okay. Ooh, that's pulled up real heavily there, so we're just going to go and remove that. It's not too bad if there's a little bit of pulling, because we're going to go over with the with a brown to like highlight this leather. So if something like that happens, it's not the end of the world, but we ideally do not want that. Just saves us more work. All right, now we got the real leathery branch right here. We got the BDSM branch, the chains and whips branch. Let's shake up this. All right. Surely this goes smoothly. That being said, as much as I said that Kingdom Death is not like a stream game, if you haven't played Kingdom Death, don't get the physical copy initially. It's too big of an investment. But get the tabletop simulator version that they sell on their website. Shit is good. Shit is relatively cheap. Shit'll get you hooked. It's a fucking good game. I hate that it's a good game too, because it's so difficult to like source, get all the shit for. It's a table hog. It's a life hog. You don't just, one does not simply play Kingdom Death. It's your lover. You know, it takes up so much fucking time and space and energy, but it's so good, dude. And aside from like, obviously the Gooner shit that they sculpt up for some of their models, they've got some really cool sculpts. Like this tree. I do like this tree. Admittedly though, for someone whose favorite painting aspect is painting skin, man, I'm right at home at Kingdom Death. Let me tell you. They don't got to change absolutely nothing for me. Oh yeah, that's going to come up nicely. I'm like a step ahead in my mind of painting. I'm just seeing what we're going to be highlighting and how it's going to come up. It's going to look so fucking good. It's going to be quick. It's going to be effective. You know, tabletop standard, nice and quick. Do I want to go that way? Yes. Nice slip, nice slip. Did I touch anything there? I did. It's all right. Got the old finger brush out to get that off. You know, I haven't dropped this model again this session yet. Kind of big. Kind of a huge PR for me. Usually treating this like a touchdown football, but it's fine. Iva, my little cat, what do you want? You wouldn't jump up on here while I'm trying to paint, would you? Certainly not. Not to Papa's painting. It's a good thing you're so cute, Ivar. Yeah, on these like larger areas where there's no real like you're not really shading in recesses or anything. I just want the like almost cartoonishness, like the pastel nature of that brown to just be muted, which is why we're putting the wash over the whole surface. We're not just recess shading. I don't want this to look like random crayon versions of brown are in here. And it'll give us a chance to recess shade around it while we do that too, which is always nice. Okay, what else do we need here? Obviously this side. Okay. You wouldn't be a weird angle for our viewers, would you? You would never. Okay. Is that... Nope. Nope, not quite. Not quite. Don't even finish that statement. I know it's wrong. Okay, someone just Tokyo drifting up my street. Big cool guy. Hung like a horse, I heard, too. Let's... I did that. So shade a little bit better. Stop sucking. Okay, inside here is what we need to do. Put this off. I have been putting this off. It's a little bit easier when it's not the actual brown color. And the brush isn't like hyper saturated with the fucking brown paint that will completely fuck the bark up if I hit it. Whereas this is just going to add a little bit more texture, but still it's very annoying to get in here. But I'm actually cracked. So easy, bro. All right. Okay. That's muted that brown a little bit more. So you can see there that now it's like not as, it doesn't pop as much out from the model. It doesn't look as out of place, which is what we want. I think now, as everything else is drying, I might go ahead and actually just pick out the skeleton portions. Might get me some more depth on those little skulls. That's where I'm going to go with this. After I send a tactical text message. Okay. All right, we're back in it. I think it's Ushapti bone time. She Ushapti on my bone. We'll workshop it. We'll workshop it. All right, we're not going to need too much of this. I'm still going to thin the shit out of it though. You know me. You know me. You know my story. Here's my story. I thin paints. That's it. That's all there is. There is nothing else to my story. All right. And we're going to go ahead and pick out some of the details here on these skulls. So we want to bring out the bone highlights here. Okay, my cat's kind of losing his shit. He's so excited for the bone highlights. Keeping in mind as well that in some highlights we want like a very consistent color. In others we don't. This is one that we don't particularly worry about like a really consistent coat. The reason being these are weathered skulls and there's going to be a certain amount of like kind of natural wear and tear. So it's actually going to play into our advantage to not have like a completely consistent coat on here. That being said, you don't want it to look like shit. But you might even stipple a little bit where you can. So we're just going to be picking out areas like that. Going around these skulls. Making them look presentable, you know? Getting them ready for their first day at school. Now, I might be tempted sometimes to use a detail brush for this, but these are pretty forgiving sculpts on these skulls. You're not gonna need too crazy of a point on your brush to get this across here. And yeah, just for the teeth, just doing a little bit of stippling on those should actually make it stand out quite a lot. So you can see there it just adds a little bit of depth to those skulls. I've got a couple more to do on here, and then I'll be doing pretty much the same thing on all the skulls. See if I can bring it up to show you a little bit. So we're going to create a little tiny bit of separation, but not too much. And it's not going to be, you know, neatness is not key here. Yes, we do want to keep the shadows kind of consistent, but it's not the end of the world. Worst comes to worst as well, you can always just pop some skeleton horde on there again. So yeah, you can see how I've sort of going quite aggressively into the joins there and into the darker recesses. I'm sort of just stippling down into them. So I'm not really concerned about very neat lines on these. Just more or less creating that shadow and separation between the skulls there. We're fortunate in the fact that like skulls hanging from a tree, they're generally not going to be the most neatly, perfectly blanched skulls. So stuff like that. So just get it to that kind of level there. Let's put my hand behind it so it actually focuses. But that kind of thing is what we're looking at. Nice and easy. Now we just do that 566 times with all these fucking skulls here. Awesome. Keeping in mind that a lot of these skulls here are on their side as well. So, you know, and look at that, say this skull here. This area here that's shaded in the center is not one that we actually want to keep shaded. That's just been a pooling of paint that we actually don't want. So just trust your year 12 anatomy, boys and girls. Actually, speaking to my analytics, boys only. Can the 0.2% of a woman in the chat put their hand up, please? So seeing there, just creating a little bit of like a texture to those where the shadows actually meet, even if you're doing a little bit of work on top of the areas, keeping the shadows in the recesses, obviously, but stippling down into them is actually going to make it just look pretty natural and rugged. Of course, if you're just going tabletop standard as well, you can just leave the skulls like this, dude. Skeleton Horde is literally that goated. You can just win. But this looks a hell of a lot better. Not necessary though. Ivar, why must you meow in my face and then not explain why, huh? It is the mystery of the dance. Okay, you're going into the cupboard under my feet. We like that too. My little precocious little man, huh? So I'll give you an idea of what I mean here. Hopefully I can do this one up close. But once we've established the top of the skull, the crown there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out the orbital ridge, the ridge of the eyes, essentially. The teeth. Get that orbital ridge. Get at the zygomatic process, bro. Dropping you some anatomy knowledge. Now this part here, we simply just feather and stipple. And it's okay, and in fact encouraged, if like a bit joins here and there. And that's what you're looking at doing. So it gives it just a more natural coverage. Keeping in mind as well, the shadows on this is going to be pretty much the whole thing, because this one particularly near a lantern, we might end up just completely going over, but a lot of these don't have much light on them. So really, it's going to be as close to doing no actual highlights as it is to doing all highlights. So you may as well make it not look like shit. That didn't make much sense, but those who know, they know. Okay. Give me some more skulls. There's 2 more there. Oh, thanks for the follow. Alan Ramirez, I'm going to go with. You're Alan Ramirez from now on. Okay. Iva has chosen to set up right behind me, so I cannot wheel my chair back at all, or I will interact with my cat in a way that will scar him forever, which I do not want to do. If you hear me swear loudly at any point, it's because I've accidentally backed over and pinched my cat's fur, which we do not want. That will be an L. Be a catastrophic L. We must protect the sweet boy at all costs. Oh, Ivar, I know you don't like the sound of that, do you? He does not like the sound of water. Paintbrush in water. Okay. I will say coverage of Ushabti bone, even on bone, is like, that's actually terrible. Give me that AK Interactive white instead. And that's a white, let alone a fucking bone color. This should be covering so much better. But it's okay. Nothing too thin coats can't fix. Am I right, Duncan Rhodes? Fortunately, the parts we're working on here, as I said, they don't have to be the neatest things in the world. In fact, it's probably best that they aren't, to display natural weathering. But it's still, natural weathering is no excuse for it just looking like absolute dog shit. So. I love it when someone does like a painting thing and they're like, yeah, so what I was going for here, and they just lie. They're just like, yep, what I was going for here was this. It's actually just because it looks like shit and you're making an excuse. I know I just blew the lid off the magician's curtain there, but that's really, really common. And all the big guys do it too. It's not just exclusive to like smaller paint channels. You think for a second that people haven't just blown smoke up your ass a little bit about some sort of painting technique that they use in this situation to make it look like nice and weathered, or to, you know, do some sort of light capture here and it's just been complete horseshit because they fucked it up? I see you. I'm not the best painter in the world. In fact, I'm right near the bottom. But I fucking see you, and I'm calling you out. Oh yeah, nice grouping of skulls. But you see how, so this is dried. And you see how those skulls have come up a hell of a lot better now? You gotta trust the process a little bit sometimes, you know? The skull's like fucking merged with the tree, holy shit. What's going on here? But you can see I'm reserving my like solid brush strokes for the for like the infraorbital ridges, the zygomatic process of the temporalis, all that sort of, all those bones across there is where we're using big, confident, thick, girthy brush strokes, and the rest are just getting a little tentative, wimpy feathering, stippling, bit of here and there. But that's how we've brought up those skulls. Now that looks heaps better. Heaps better. Holy shit. Look at the difference that's made to the skulls. Let me turn this shit off so you can actually see it. Look at that. That's what I'm fucking talking about, baby. That's a little bit more like Mama used to make. I remember when Mama used to paint the skulls. Oh man, I'm so tempted to do the talons on the end of the branches, but I'm not going to do that yet. What I might do, so the gray has almost dried in all those areas. I could do the white, or I could do the layering on here. Tempted to do the layering after I do any of the chain. Do we just do fuck it, dude, and just pick out that? Yeah, we're doing it. You know what? I got to change over my palette. We're out of inches on this palette. She's done all she can. She can reach no further. Ooh, that is a damp palette. God dang. All right, Ivar, you're right behind me. I know you are. He's right behind me, isn't he? Okay. You're not making this easy, Ivar. Oh. All right. Let's get myself a whole new... world's my oyster. A whole new sheet. Look at that. Look at that. God, I can really accomplish anything now. Okay. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You know what? Also going to be taking a super quick bathroom break because I just need to make sure this palette has enough moisture on it. All right, Iva, I have moved the cat. We did not sandwich the cat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the dampest wet palette in the world ready to go. We're gonna have some of the thinnest paint you've ever seen. All right, realistically, what do I want to do here now? I've done the skulls. I might pick out now some of the metal. All right, what that's going to involve is me getting. Do I preemptively get that down and fuck myself because I'll be looking for it? No idea. Maybe. Ha. Found exactly the color I'm looking for. Oh my god, it doesn't have any paintballs in this pot. That's crazy, bro. Ugh. Yucky. Alright, that's fine. I'm not going to need a huge amount of this, but I'm going to use some of this here Citadel. What are we using? Ironbreaker. Citadel, like mid-tone silver. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. God, I love how these fucking Citadel pots don't even close, man. It's like actually great. Like, why would you ever use any other paint, you know? When you could have the Citadel paint and just never have it close on you, ever. Alright. We're going to be pretty fast and loose with the chains here. We're only going to be highlighting the things that are going to be facing the players. So things like in here, we're just going to be highlighting those little pieces. One, because I can't be bothered doing anything else. There we go. Now, that may not make a huge visual impact alone, but let me tell you, you do the whole fucking thing like this on all the facing areas, dog, you got kind of the, you know, you got that shit on now. You know, you got that, now it's big dog time. Oh my god, it's happening, chat. I'm too OCD to just leave it only player facing. I hate myself. Oh my gosh. Why'd I put the Ironbreaker right on like the other side of my fucking palette? That's what I want to know. When are we going to do some studies about that? Yeah, fuck it, I'm doing that over the whole thing. That's all right. That's what we needed. We needed a little bit of spice in the project, you know? Excellent. So those chains, they actually look so much better when they're highlighted just with a tiny little bit of Ironbreaker. It's going to make the world a difference. You got to trust me. You got to trust the process. I'm going to do a little bit on the shield here as well. There's a couple of different shields on this model, but we're going to do a little bit just on the edges of the shield. I had to put the iron breaker so far over to one side, didn't I? You know, typical. There we go. Awesome. Yeah, this is definitely worth it. That sounded sarcastic. I actually think this is worth it. Even on areas where there's not going to be a huge amount of highlight. And obviously we're going to have to go over and do the lanterns separately. The reason for that being that the lanterns are a area where there's a light source. So it's kind of pointless for me to do that now because there'll be so much change. Oh yeah, painting individual chain links. Sheesh. Real fucking grip your ballsack kind of content here. Whoop. Oh, here we go. It's making a difference. A little bit more on that one. A little tiny bit more on that one. There we go. All right. May as well hit this side as well. I know this is like the least close to player facing that there is, but I'm gonna know it's there, you know. All right, good shit. Let's highlight that up a little bit. Surely you can be brought up a bit. Yes, you can. Dare we turn that shit around and hit it from the back? I think we should. I think we fucking should. Hell yeah. Now see, a lot of these areas here where we were like with the Nuln Oil, if it stayed a little bit heavy, we can just simply highlight it back up with this layer. So that's why I wasn't too concerned over pooling there. You still didn't want to have it like completely obscuring all detail though, because then you're just essentially applying metal on black and it will just look like you've just painted metal over black. Good stuff, good stuff. Now you notice I'm not painting the lanterns quite yet either, because there's a specific thing I want to do with those after the light goes in them. Of course, the top of the lantern is not going to be affected by the OSL inside the lantern. That's very normal, because the top is a non-permeable space, obviously. The light is not going to be able to affect it. So we're going to do something special for that, but it's going to be as if the light is coming off. So the highlight is still going to exist. It's just going to be very different to how it would be on an open object. That was a good way of saying a lot of words and getting absolutely nothing across, but just trust the process. There's a lot of just trust me, bro, you know? A lot of just trust me, bro. Nice. Kind of holding this like you'd hold a pistol right now. And you know what? We can do this on this lantern, because this lantern has been a boy that had been almost completely unpainted. So, as I said, there's going to be like a stippling or a feathering of the shadows, or I should say highlights here, into the shadow on the top of the lantern created by the null null, because the light is going to be coming from inside this lantern and only a bit of it's going to be spilling over the top. So we can do something like that. Whose idea was it to individually highlight the chain links, please? Oh, it was mine? Never mind. Nice. All right, good stuff. I think we're moving on to a little bit more chains on this next one, actually. Even more chains. So it's not important that you hit like every link here in this process. In fact, it adds a little bit of like grungy and textureness to actually not, like we were doing with the leaves. It makes it a little bit more natural. Keeping in mind, we don't have any natural light sources here. Kingdom Death is completely without natural light. Well, not completely, but a lot of it is without natural light, which is important when you're considering painting these models. For example, when I'm painting flesh in Kingdom Death, I am mindful that they're not exactly all going to be tanned beach babes because there's no fucking sun. Yeah, just look at the difference between, I mean, these chains and these chains here. It's chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese, baby. Excellent. Okay, one of these here. Good. Oh, and you. Can't forget about the straps. Get the strap. Oh, there's a full shield at the bottom there too. Yeah, I'll come back to that. Chat, can you see how I am absolutely fucking gorilla gripping this shit at the moment? It's crazy. Oh, damn. I'm holding that with 110% of my grip. We're going to go dropless on this stream. Absolutely dropless. Is that better? Yeah, a little bit. Oh, damn. Not for me, though. Holy shit. We're painting in the dark. So we are getting the more prominent links. You know, we're just giving it a very rough and ready quick touch there. Awesome. Okay. We're over onto the axe wielding side. We will do this shield actually while we're here. So the shield, you don't want to remove any of the details of those scratches or anything like that. And we want to just tie it into that natural shadowing. Well, not natural, but the Nuln has already established there for us. Excellent. And I'm just going to run around the actual outer ring of this shield here. Just not at the very bottom. With a tiny little bit on the edges. There we go. And we'll do a little bit on the back as well. Again, not on the very bottom. It's not going to pick up any light there. If there is any to begin with. I'm putting this back on, chat. I can't do it. All right. On to the final branch system. Kind of a big moment. Can't wait for, you know, to put in this effort into painting this. And then for them to just get, like, wombo comboed by it, like, instantly and never want to do this showdown again. It's their fault for trying to fight it on a lantern year too, baby. That is crazy. They're like, nah, we can take it. I'm like, all right. Let them have their fun. You know, I'm just playing as the scout. I'm trying to stay largely out of it. Letting the newbies have their fun. They get Lonely Tree, Lantern Year 1, and they want to find it Lantern Year 2. Kind of an insane pull, Lantern Year 1, I'm aware. Okay. Let's do that one there as well. Hell yeah. We've got a bit more up here. And then we can turn that sumbitch around. Let's do up here. All right. Where are we going from here, you might ask? Probably onto the brass sections. Just because they're now right there. Oh, actually, no, the leather. We're going the leather. We're planning out our trajectory, and we're going to the leather. The next order of operations, tactical text message, paint leather. I'm a simple man. Okay. Let's get that in there. Good. A little bit more on these ones. Okay. Now we do still have the lanterns to do, like a little bit of metal on there, but that's coming along real good. I think we do duck to the leather now. That's what we're going to be doing. It's leather time. So we had Mordfang Brown. We're probably going to be hitting just a little bit of... where are we? Where can we go from Mordfang Brown, huh? There. Okay. We got some options. Probably going to go with a Scrag Brown. I want this leather to be quite aggressively highlighted. I'm not going to be doing 1,000 layers of this, just 2 highlight layers, which for me is like none. Fuck, bro, we do 6 layers on skin, you know? This is where we're in the low rent district with this. World's wettest palette. We like that. Alright. Let's put some fucking Scrag Brown on this shit. Actually, tactical text. I did promise it. Alright. It's Scrag Brown time. It's the time you've all been waiting for, baby. Let's go here. We're going to be hitting the front of these areas with a bit of Scrag Brown. We're going to be doing sort of a, like, an L highlight. Does that make sense? Like we're going from like the top and then the front aspect. So towards the player, we're going to be hitting that, because as I said, we're not working with an actual light source here. So we're just going to be doing the old towards the player light source. The most classic of all light sources. Now we will almost definitely have to do a couple of layers of this, because this is an extremely thinned out Scrag Brown, which I wanted. But stuff like this, it's almost like an edge highlight on that. That is perfect for what we're looking for. But we can be quite aggressive with how that's highlighted out. Because the light is going to be coming from, okay, one, the lanterns are going to be their own thing. They'll create a red glow or a yellow. But the light other than that is going to be coming from the player's lanterns. So that's why we're doing it that way. Because the player lanterns are going to create their own highlights in their own little directions. So as we go up towards the top here, it's not going to be as much highlighting, because the stuff will be coming from actually underneath. So this is why I said the highlighting is a little bit strange on this one. Because you're highlighting from the perspective of a light source that isn't even there, but that will be there hypothetically in the battle to come. So you can see there, we're sort of going to pick out the stuff that's just any of the facing areas to a potential party or player. That's the part that's going to be lit up. And that's what we're hitting there with the bulk of the highlight. There we go. Now in these areas here where I will pick out the highlights, we will be going like very across any edges that are actually inside the highlight. We'll be going across that with an edge highlight, essentially. All right, good stuff. Now it can be a little bit difficult to imagine, you know, where those highlights are coming from. But as I said, anything where the players would be standing with a lantern, because all players in this game have a lantern, it's pretty much where you're gonna be going. Oh, awesome. Okay. So on these front areas there, you can be very, very liberal. These ones here, which are more player facing. And we are doing 2 thin coats over these as well. keeping in mind the players are short. So the higher up on the tree you go, the more underneath the highlight will be. Yeah, this area here, very, very easy to do because it's just going to be right where the people will be standing with their lanterns. But it's not going to be a traditional like all over highlight. We are really going to pick out where survivors would most likely be just standing. This might have a little bit underneath it as well. I'm going to go over with layer number 2 here. 2 thin coats, baby. Give me that Duncan Rhodes. Fortunately, because we are working, in quite thin coats here, it does dry very, very quickly, which is great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'll whack a little bit more over this side. Good stuff. A little bit under there. All right. I think we're on to the last branch that has some leather on it. We are. Fantastic. So you sort of notice that we're creating highlights, like you might be used to creating highlights from the top. We're actually creating them from the bottom here because that's where any of the lantern light will be from the survivors. So it's just highlighting in reverse. And from outside. So this kind of angle right here. And we've got to keep in mind, as I said, the height of the survivors too. So you're not going to be creating highlights anywhere that, survivor's not going to be able to reach up to the fucking top of this tree. We are bereft of the stream audio. We have been stream audio cancelled, chat. It is with great shame that I tell you we have been stream audio cancelled. The YouTube gods don't like chill lo-fi. That's okay. We don't need chill lo-fi. We've got each other. Those memes of fucking in the gym, people just singing instead of having their headphones. That's me to you right now. All right, there we go. We'll wait for that to dry a little bit, and then we'll do another highlight layer on that. But aside from that, that's pretty donezo. Now we are going to be picking out, as I said, the edges on those leather parts where there would be light, with a slightly brighter brown as well. Let's make sure we get some good coverage here. There we go. Nice. And yeah. All right. Fantastic. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let us do. Well, let's give it a second, actually, because it probably won't have all dried just yet. But for our final layer of brown, where the fuck did I put that? Scrag brown? No, no, no. Yes, maybe. Mortaring brown. And yeah, we're going to do a Deathclaw. We're going to do a Deathclaw brown as the final little layer here. All right, let's get a little bit of that out. We don't need a lot. We're going to be using this as more of a like an edge highlight. There we go. Thin that out. All right, let's jump across to this initial layer here. I'm going to be working very, very thin and fine with these ones. Just a little bit on the very edge. Just there. So just a little on the very sort of front-facing surface of any of these areas here. And it's not going to extend all the way up. Good stuff, good stuff. As I said, this is more of like a pseudo edge highlight. Just of anywhere that we've previously picked out. Yeah. And just in the most sort of aligned way with the light and where it would be coming from. Excellent. This is pretty quick and easy. As long as you got a relatively steady hand, you should be fine. Good. Excellent, excellent already. Good stuff. All right, we can move on. So it's not a matter of there's not going to be a huge amount of this. It is a real, like a traditional like final highlight, but just in an edge highlight form. So we'll just drag that straight down both sides here. There we go. We can get a little bit more liberal on these really thick parts of the like leather that are around here. They'll need it. Good. Not too much more left to go. But it's just giving, you can see it there, it's just giving a little bit of the accent. Uh-huh, uh-huh. All right, chat. Are we coming through loud and clear for you? YouTube's trying to have me on. I reckon YouTube's trying to have me on. Kick is totally fine. Kick is thriving over there. They are eating. The Kick boys are just kicking back, as the name suggests. But the YouTube boys, we got to check up on you guys. I don't know. I don't know how you're doing. I got to make sure my YouTube boys are okay. YouTube boys got to eat too. All right, good. Let me have a check up on you guys. What are you doing? Let me boot the old streameroo up. I don't know. I don't know how you're doing. Gotta make sure. Oh yeah, yeah. That's fine. That's totally fine. I don't know what it's complaining about, really. Oh, yo, Stephen Jesse, you're still here. We good, bro. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. I too am doing good. So with that in mind, now that we've highlighted the metal and the brown where we need it, you can see that sort of it's come to a little bit of the it's a little bit counterintuitive to highlight your browns like that, but it will make sense with the lanterns all done and on the table with the actual fruits and everything like that. But we got to keep in mind where the actual light will be coming from, like I said. So it's when you're thinking about object sources, it's tempting to highlight it from the very top, but nothing's actually going to be coming from the top in this circumstance. Nothing's coming off the top rope to get you in these ones. All right, what I'm going to do now, controversial. I'm going to go for the red. We're going to go with a, oh my God, straight into the mic stand again. We're going to go with a tried and tested red here for these little pincery boys. We're going to go with a Mephiston red, a red as old as time. This is one of this red has senior citizen benefits, bro. This is the red they tell you about when you first pick up a paintbrush. Now, we are not just going to do red, but we are going to do a little bit of work with an effects paint on these talons here, and we're getting good old Citadel standard back out for this one. We need a little bit of we need a little paint on this brush here. All right. Oh yeah, like it's not even there yet, but you can sort of tell how this is gonna make this thing fucking pop. God damn. I'm already excited to do this next part. Holy shit. This is what the tree needed. The tree just needed a good set of nails, bro. We should have listened to the women. They were telling us how important this was. Wow, this is a gnarly. This is like a talon. This isn't a nail. This is a nail. God, I've missed the coverage of red, bro. Oh, my Lord. It's so good. I'm going to take away my own purchase point by painting this. Damn. I've been using this nail as a finger breast for like every single thing I've been painting. All right. Like, look how much that's added to it just by doing that. It's just, God, I love it when something like this makes a model come alive. Hell yeah. All right, what you want to do for this next part is grip it in the most shaky way you possibly can. Yes. Good. You want this shit to be moving and shaking. All right. The no background music. I know, Kick Boys. I know. It wasn't your side that caused that. Blame YouTube. Blame the YouTube boys. Hashtag blame the YouTube boys. They cop so much. Kick was our original lifeblood. That's why. We only got recently, I was only not using YouTube because I was being stalked by someone. Isn't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? That's why I started using Kick. I didn't go to Kick for any sort of like wacky political reasons like people usually do. Let's go in there because that person didn't have a Kick, couldn't follow me, didn't know where I was, what I was doing, and we sort of played around in secret there for a bit. But now we're back on YouTube, and that situation is no more. So we all good. All right, we've done its nails. We've done the first layer of its nails. Is it on fleek? I think it feels like it's on fleek. Ooh, interesting. This one doesn't have a talon on it. Oh, wait, yes, it does. My God, I just didn't see the delineation. I thought that was just a straight branch. I was like, casual. Call that a lonely tree? That ain't nothing. Shit ain't nothing to me, man. All right, I'm just going to make up where that talon ends and starts. Stops and finishes, rather. God, it's good to be painting with fucking high coverage paint again. Damn. The pigments in red paint are seriously undefeated. They just go over everything, bro. I think only black causes problems, and only if you don't do like a real deep crimson over the top. Like if I was to go to Mephiston red straight over a black, maybe I'd have a problem. But I tell you what, for the rest, forget about it. But even then, what's the Citadel equivalent? Probably like a corn red. Corn red, bro. That'll coat your deepest, darkest nightmares. That will. You don't need to. You don't need to pre-condition that area for shit. You just go straight onto that corn red, and it'll do you right. Although over a black base coat, it will essentially just look black, which is not as ideal as a normal red would be. Okay. Okay. The nails continue to be on point, boys. The nails continue to be on point. Like a nail salon here right now. Yeah, I'm going to be using some blood for the blood god here in a second. Um, and that's such a weird such a weird effect paint, sorry, because it's pigmented. Like so heavily. It's pigmented red. So like it you do a base coat, yes, but like you can't really highlight and shit underneath the base coat because blood for the blood god will just make it all the same color. But those of you who haven't ever used just a bulk blood for the blood god on something like a talon, especially when it makes sense, like on this tree where all of its attacks are like kind of bleed related, you're in for a treat. It does look good. It's like zero skill as well. Just like no brain, no pain kind of painting, which is my favorite. God, this thing has a lot of nails, bro. Can you even see what I'm painting at the moment? No. Okay, there we go. Damn. All right. Surely we've only got one little branch system to go. God, her nails look so good. Who did her nails, you know? Oh, this one's like curled up. Giving it the death metal fucking mystical orb, you know? Giving it that one. Oh, it's got a finger rest that isn't a nail. This is my new favorite branch system. Actually, is this my favorite? No, it's not. No, this one's boring. It's my favorite for this. But this is L branch system. Okay. Come back around here. You know, the delineations are actually relatively clear. I was worried that they would be hard to pick out, but there's only a couple of these like talon nail things that are like relatively hard to see where they start and finish. The sculpt is actually pretty good, especially for an old Kingdom Death model. Like this hasn't been re-released or anything. And she old as hell. Okay. Anything on the top? No. On the back? Maybe. Yes. Okay. What about you from the front? Let's do it. There we go. All right. Once that's dried, we're going to be putting a little blood for the blood god on those ones, just to give that talon a little bit of pop. You see how the brass has dried here? That's exactly what we were looking for, like that kind of rough brass coppery sort of look. Awesome. Just flick water onto the leaves. That's cool. But yeah, you see how the brass has dried here? I kind of like the tarnish look of that. There's a couple of areas where I'm going to go back over and bring the highlight a little bit up. But that's exactly what we were looking for. Now, as far as the next step goes, aside from the blood from the blood god on these ones, it's probably going to be to put some white in those lanterns now. Actually, there is one little step I can do before that, and that is a simple one. That's a Doomball Brown. Oh no, Rhinox Hide. Let's use Rhinox Hide. Let's go real dark. Let's use fucking Rhinox Hide, bro. Essentially black with makeup on. All right. Oh. And we only need like the tiniest bit of it. Man, do I even... Yeah, sure. Sure. Why not? Why not? Why the fuck not? You know I gotta thin that shit, despite it being literally like the tiniest amount of this that I actually need. You know we gotta thin that out. You know we gotta thin it out. Duncan Rhodes, so proud of me right now. All right. So we're going essentially with a Rhinox hide on this axe here, this wooden handle for the axe. Let's do that. The reason being, I want this to be differentiated from the wood of the tree. And I want this to be a lot darker than the wood of the tree. Keeping in mind, we haven't done any of the straps or anything like that, any of the like lashings or bindings on anything. So we'll do those soon. Tiny little detail here. Tiny little thing, but it's just nice. I don't want this axe to feel like it's made out of the lonely tree, which is why I wanted a different wood color. You ain't gonna be fashioning my boy into an axe, no sir. He's too tough for that shit. Excellent. Good stuff. All right. Now, here is the question. Do we do blood for the blood god, aka fun, or do we do white, aka awful? I think we know. I think we know in our heart of hearts. I think it was always going to be blood for the blood god right now. You know it was. Yes, yeah, literally. See? Exactly. Kick chat, you got it in one. Blood for the blood god or bust. That's exactly right. When you know we're hitting this shit straight out of the tin, bro. The forbidden blood for the blood god technique. Straight out of the tin, onto the red. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Make sure we get plenty of that shit on there, too. Gruesome. All right. God, texture paints are so fun. Like effects paints. So silly. I bet they had a lot of fun, mate. In fact, oh God, this is such an age docs. I remember when they released Blood for the Blood God, and it was supposedly just going to be a limited paint, like 10 plus years ago. And everyone was scrambling to pick up their pots of Blood for the Blood God and Typhus Corrosion. Man, Nurgle players were eating. They got Nurgle's Rot and Typhus Corrosion. That's kind of crazy. Nurgle's Rot was a game changer. Typhus Corrosion just got overused by people who couldn't paint. That sounds harsh, but if you know, you know. It's like, no, this is my Nurgle vehicle. I just covered it in Typhus Corrosion. Oh, sick. Cool paint job, man. Nice. You do anything else? No. Okay. Undercoated green? Cool. Yeah, sick. Nice. I bet that really took you a long time to figure out that paint job, huh? I don't know. I'm hating on that. That's fine. It is what it is. I'd be lying if I told you that I never Typhus Corrosioned a single thing in my life. Also, weirdly enough, like Typhus Corrosion, yes, you could use it to paint Typhus a little, but not really. Not really that useful to paint the actual namesake model. Whereas like Blood for the Blood God, bro, Khorne players were done. Literally just their painted armies. All you did was add Blood for the Blood God selectively. It was a real game changer for splatter paint as well. Holy shit, was that a game changer? You had like a more dynamic splatter of sort of blood from an axe or something like that you wanted to put on the ground or on the model, or blood splatter effect over the plate. God damn. Blood for the Blood God said, hold my fucking beer, bro. I'm about to drop the best effect paint you've ever seen. Ooh, that's a big talon. Okay. All right, Lonely Tree. We've almost completed your nails. You're going to be the envy of every girl in the nail parlor. Look at that. Look at that go. Holy shit. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Good. Now it's starting to look a little bit more like a blood-soaked nightmare tree. We like that. We like that. So now we're working towards some of the brighter colors, where it's time to bite the bullet. It's time to do white. It's time to do everyone's least favorite thing, and that is paint fucking white. I'll tell you what though, let me put you onto a winner. AK Interactive Intense White. Chef's kiss, bro. If you're gonna paint white, paint it AK. Is all I'm saying. Paint white AK Interactive Intense. There can be only one intense white. There can be only one recommendation. Okay, let me get some clean water for this. All right. Surely it behaves. Surely this time, white will be the color that I enjoy painting the most. Surely. All right. All right. Come on, baby. Work with me, not against me. Work with me, not against me. The gray undercoat doing some really heavy lifting here. But see, like, that AK Intense white is so fucking good, dude. Like, as far as whites go, that is where you want to be, baby. Keeping in mind as well, like I said, we're not too bothered here by any overflow of that onto like the rim of the lanterns, because we're going to be doing a glow effect and then picking out the white at the center of the light source. So all of this is going to be covered in spillover light anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal. Okay. Damn, we really do have that. We really got that shit on now, chat. We really got that shit on. People who do not use AK Intense White do not have that shit on. That's what I've learned. I hear the Vallejo model color white is also good, the new one. But AK Intense has been goated since day one, you know? It's a ride or die. It's convenient because usually painting white makes me want to die. These areas as well where the white is not as sort of the pigment isn't taking as much, like in the middle of these lantern areas, that's actually totally fine. So we actually want those areas to identify where we're going to put the white after the glow effect. So don't worry about those, because the glow effect needs to take, if this makes sense, it kind of works with the glow effect to boost it where it needs to be boosted and be a lot more shallow where we're going to put the white highlight. So the white center of the light, which is going to be the brightest part, is going to be the part where the white binds the least on this application. And like I said, you don't have to worry too much about like this little bit of spillover there onto like that bit of leather, because we're going to hit that with a glow, and it's going to make perfect sense because that's right next to a light source. So it's going to be lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. So it's actually perfectly reasonable for that to be like that. You know how I said to you, people like justifying their like sloppy painting. You just got hoodwinked. No, that's actually real. That's actually what I want. But that does sound like an excuse. I'm a big enough man to admit it sounds like an excuse. But it's one of those trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Okay, excellent. God, this thing actually is like Lantern Central. She got so many lanterns on her. All right. There we go. Yeah, probably the God, I am really avoiding just doing the base. Um, but probably the second most time consuming thing, aside from the actual base of the tree, will be just establishing the glow and the light sources. That's going to be pretty annoying, but it's not actually that annoying because I really like doing that, but it is going to be time consuming. But if that was the only white painting we had to do on this model, it would be great. However, we've got to do all this shit down here, which is not going to be fun. That is going to be the opposite of having that shit on. It's going to look good in the end, but oh my God, it's going to be torture. So we have that to look forward to. Look at all these fucking lanterns, dude. Bro, just go to Specsavers. Why do you need so many fucking lanterns, so many light sources, brother? I am using the as I said last time, the most raggedy brush of all time, and I will even be using that for the glow effects. So she's getting some screen time. The old what was this called again? Delta 942 series Toray China. This is like a 10-cent paintbrush too. Not Tencent, the Chinese company. Although it might have been. It very well might have been. Ooh, that's a tough place to paint, actually. Yeah, sure. Okay. Let me get right in there. Give you that premium viewing angle where you can see absolutely nothing. All right, good. Another fucking lantern. Good lord. I know I've missed a bit on that lantern on the top of this branch system. It's okay. Oh my god, there's even more lanterns. Just so many fucking lanterns on this thing. I actually haven't done a lantern. I did a skull head count, but not a lantern head count. Wonder how many lanterns there actually are here. I have to paint. I'll have to do that in just a second. Okay. Oh, threaded the needle. We got it. We got him. We got him. All right. Let's get up in here. Up in here. Up in here. All right. All right. God, look at how her nails have come up, Chad. I told you. I told you. Let's get under here. Risky access angle right there. Could have easily gotten white on something, which is like really awful. All right. All right. Oh, I got blood for the blood god on me. It's okay. It's not actual blood. It's texture paint. TOS purposes. All right. Now, that white is going to take a shitload of time to dry, which is expected. So we will be working on a couple of other things while we wait. But I'm going to do a lantern count. So there's 4 here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 lanterns. As I said, bro, just go get a new set of glasses. Do I want to paint over the top of these a little bit? Maybe. See how the coverage is. Even with AK Interactive White, this coverage is going to be pretty garbage. Yeah, that's going to be rough. That is going to be rough. Something to look forward to, chat. Something to look forward to. All right, where are we going to go now with this? I think we really do only have... Fuck, do we only have the light sources and then the base? Fuck, don't make me paint the fucking base. Oh, no, 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 no. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, nope, nope. You thought we've still got plenty. Come here, deck tan. Ugh. Me using some deck tan. We're going to be painting the straps and like cords and shit that are binding some of these things. Easiest way to do that, just deck tan, Nuln Oil, done. Don't highlight it, just leave it. So if it's bandages, highlight it, but it's real easy. Okay. Deck tan come to Papa. We're going to be layering that shit right up. We may even pull out a rarely seen detail brush here. We may be at a stage here where we're actually going to be pulling out that. I gotta have that shit on. I might even do before we do that. There's going to be one little area here of Nuln Oil that I'm going to do, and it's going to be on that little axe that we did before, just to then shade it back up as a stone or rock axe. This is going to be the smallest application of Nuln Oil known to man. You've never seen Nuln Oil like this. Okay. Now we really are going to like move the fuck out of that Nuln Oil. Like we are not leaving it like that. It's not going to be that heavy. See, when I say move it, I usually am hitting this with a paper towel, and just getting any of the surface pooling out of there. So we don't want stuff like that. And then that will dry. Give us a little bit of texture on that axe, and then I'll highlight up the smile of the axe, which will be good. So that will be doing its thing while we're doing this deck tan layer. As I said, a rare time here where we're going to be using an actually thin brush. We're gonna go on Jenny Craig for this next brush. This next brush going to be real small. The reason being, we're going to be picking out these like little string portions here. So I'm going to be using. God, I don't know if you guys have met this guy in person. This little motherfucker right here. Oh, look at how small he is. What is this? This is a Vallejo detail. This is a size 50. 50 Jetto. We're going to be using very small amounts of paint here. We're going to be getting right up in its business. Nobody breathe, chat. Nobody fucking breathe. Nobody fucking breathe. Hell yeah. So you can see there that we're picking out these very, very small portions here. Um, pretty much going to approach it like any other part of the miniature, in that we'll do everything that is facing us here first, and then we'll flip that bad mamma jamma around, and we'll do the other side. But you can see why I'm sort of using this tiny little paintbrush here. It's just so that we don't have to I don't have to use the very, very tip of a paintbrush that could potentially fray on me, and then I would be an unhappy camper. All right. But you can see just instantly that's made a shitload of detail difference, and we haven't even done anything fancy. Like this is not even my final form, chat. You do not understand. We've still got so much of this shit left to do. Okay. Let's go from here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Basically just doing this over and over. Try not to get the blood from the blood god on me. Could really use a finger rest right now. Awesome, that actually made me worse at painting. uh, hell yeah. See that shit, bro? Threaded that fucking needle. Threaded that fucking needle. Who the fuck is this guy? I know I'm chopping and changing, but my eyes focused on that part there. So I was like, well, let's do that. Let's just get him out of the way. Now, while I did thin this paint here a little bit, the key word being a little bit, I did not thin this as much as I usually would. I left the deck tan with a bit of heft to it, and the reason for that is because it's easier to do these tiny little areas if there's a bit of body to the paint, and because we're not painting an area that requires immense smoothness, this is acceptable. Whereas it wouldn't be if we were needing a large area of smooth paint. You would be fucking yourself over by not thinning the paint more. Okay, fuck it. I'm balls deep on this grip now. I'm gorilla gripping it. It's fine. It's totally fine, chat. Oh yeah. All he needed was a little gorilla grip. Yeah. Needless to say, this is actually very annoying if you fuck this up. So that's why I'm kind of like getting pretty serious on this little part here. There's like a certain amount of leeway you can have with this, and then after that, it becomes like very annoying to fix. But you can see there that we're getting a pretty decent result, and a lot of the shading around this is already done from the previous layers of the brass and the Agrax Earthshade over the top. All right. Now, don't be sleeping on any of these chords here that are like, God, can I even point this out on camera? Like right here. Don't you be sleeping on him. He's important. And him. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And make sure that you hit him from the front and the back. Am I right, boys? Am I right? There we go. Okay. Now, keeping in mind there's a little bit of wrapping on this axe as well that we have done. And I will be doing that small portion while we are here. So this is how they've actually attached the axe to the wood. So I see one wrap there. I'm going to follow that around. Excellent. Okay. And now we're just going to do any of the other areas of brass that have little detail nuggets like that in the same way. Have I got more blood for the blood god on me, for fuck's sake? All right. So there's a couple more down here, for example. Let's take care of those. Oh, this is a little bit easier. I've got like a nice rest here. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. For those playing at home, I do stop breathing, yes, when I do this, but that's okay. It's actually a really common thing. Oh, nice. I'm shaking a lot. This is good. This is good. Adds a bit of texture, adds a bit of thrill, a bit of sex appeal, a bit of danger. All right. How about we do some more on this side here? This side not as good as a purchase as the other side, but we make it work. All right. Oh, that was by far my messiest one. Now it's not too bad if you do actually get a little messy, but like a big fuck up is really annoying. But we haven't had a big one. We have not had a big one. We have just had a messy little bit here that I'm pretty sure I can correct. And by that I mean make 100 times worse. Hell yeah. So the reason that doesn't matter too much is because we can actually go over that with the Nuln Oil and then pick out the highlight and just fix it like that. So essentially get another crack at it, even though we're sort of going backwards to go forward on that approach. But hey, sometimes that is what it is. All right, we've got a little bit on the goblet next to it as well. As I said, don't forget about these little bits on the top here that are just holding them in place. It's these little things that make such a big difference. You sleep on them, you sleep on half the impact of the model. Oh my god, give me a finger rest. Okay, there we go. Yeah, these tiny brushes, by the way, are largely useless aside from this exact purpose. Like, people want to say, oh yeah, for these like detailed on these pieces, you must use like a really, really small brush. I really, really don't a lot of the time. I really, really don't, because the coverage that you get out of a brush this small is dog shit. To put it in the original Latin. Like, how are you supposed to layer up? How are you supposed to glaze with something that holds no paint? You know, this is not your idea. This, you know what this is good for? You know when I bust this motherfucker out? Eyes. Fucking eyes, bro. Literally the bane of my existence. Show me how to paint the eyes. No. You gotta learn that yourself. There's a certain amount of pain that you have to endure before you can even ask me about painting eyes. Although I will give a painting eyes hot tip. Paint them before you do anything else. That way, the overflow and the misses will just simply be covered up by your actual layers. So paint them first, baby. Paint them first. This was a gnarly access. Oh my god, I didn't even paint the tree accidentally. Huge. He's like the goat. All right. Good. I think that's all the brass, all the straps. That it is. Look at her nails, chat. She's getting bloody with it. All right. Now we put Excalibur back in its sheath. These usually I'm not actually the biggest fan of like brush protection, but these ones, these really tiny brushes, and any of the actual like horsehair brushes and shit like that, I will protect. Okay, you can see during all that time, almost literally no drying happened on the actual white, because it's real moist. Oh my god, I threw the Dawnstone out. Look at me. I did that shit to it. I did. So I'm going to just do now a little bit of grey on that axe again. Just to pick out a little tiny bit more. Mostly on the smile of the axe there. We're not going to need a huge amount by any means. It's going to take like 2 seconds. All right. There we go. And we'll do the same thing on that side. Stone axe don't have to look impressive because it's a stone axe. It's not fucking impressive. So I wouldn't. Yeah, there's a reason this stone axe is up here. It's because the motherfucker that was wielding it is dead. All right. We don't waste tears over him. He brought a stone axe to a Nemesis Monster 3 fight. You know, it's not what we do around these parts. Now, the only other thing I'm going to do to that axe is I'm going to hit the deck tan that we just placed up there with a tiny little bit of Nuln Oil. Tiny little bit of Nuln Oil. Just a little tappa of Nuln Oil. Come here, Lonely Tree. You saucy minx. Oh, I'm not going to use that brush for that. No, sir. I suppose. All right. Now we're kind of doing the entire shaft of the axe, as well as the little bits of bandage that are keeping it attached here. And that just adds a little bit to that axe. We don't want it to be a very detailed thing that's going to distract. But now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a little bit of Nuln Oil over these areas of a deck tan. And just a little over those areas that we've already done. And you're going to notice what it's going to do. It's going to add a shitload of recess shading around it. So it's going to make the impact of that deck tan really, really pop here. Yeah, there we go. There we fucking go. It's also going to fix up any tiny little boo-boos that you had. And it's going to mute that so it's not like a real... if you're going for a very like clean, upbeat, happy, fairy tale-esque looking model, you probably want to re-highlight after this. But for the Lonely Tree in Kingdom Death, I actually think this is the perfect end shade for that deck 10 to land on. Good stuff. Duck over to this other branch here. I don't think there's any others, actually. I think that might be it. Correct. Okay. Good. Good. We're getting closer and closer to having to do the fucking base here. In fact, I think we might be one glow effect and radiant light painting away. In which case, goddamn, it's going to be almost base time. You know what? Let's bite the bullet. Let's bite the bullet. Let's do the gray, the Dawnstone. The Dawnstone, baby. Let's do that as the base layer on the stone faces while we're waiting for the other shit to dry. God, can I bring myself to do the fucking blending and the base? God, is this going to be a three-parter? A three-part epic, bro? Huge. Okay. Thin that shit right out. Now, we don't have to be too discerning with this paint, and it can actually get onto the hands, because we're going to be blending those hands with a skin or flesh color to the bark. But that being said, I'm still going to approach this pretty carefully here. So you can get on the hands. We're not too worried about that. But other than that, we want to keep it to the stone faces. I probably will repaint the vines as well, or the roots that are coming off there. Maybe, but I'm not sure, so I'm not getting that all up in their business right this moment. In fact, no, I will, so I'm deciding right now to get all up in their business. Oh god, this is going to be so fucking terminal to paint white. Oh my lord. Oh, did I almost touch something with that? Almost. We will call him Almost. So any areas there that are much closer to the forearms and not the hands of places, I'll probably leave to paint with a smaller brush. But the hands we can get up on. Now I will obviously do a little bit on the outer part of this base as well. but the lion's share of the base's a character, shall we say, is going to come from the stone faces uh, and the hands. That's about as high up as I want to go, honestly, with that on that hand. Someone having a real good time outside there in their car, screaming, hooting, and hollering. Either that or they're being like attacked. I can't really tell. Could be anything. Could be anything. We'll wait to hear in the news. Oh, that little hand. That's going to get so fucking painted. Holy shit. A notification from the post office at 10 p.m. at night. This can only be good things. So this grey is a precursor to just white, much like it was on the lanterns. But it's going to mean that we don't have to feel like death when we're painting the white over the top. More than white usually makes you feel like that. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to a slightly smaller brush. Return of the Delta China series brush. Huge. We love him. He's huge. The reason being, I don't want to paint a lot of the roots. I just want to paint the hands here. Good, that hand is painted. But we do want to get in to all the crevices and stuff like that. We may even do a smaller brush again, just for the very fine details. But the reason I'm not doing that now is because I still need something that holds a bit of paint here, because this texture of these faces, it just sucks down paint. Like, so if you're painting with a detail brush in here, you're going to get like 1 millimeter and then have to top up your paint again. This base, by the way, once we put this all together, is going to make this thing absolutely pop. It is going to be crazy how different it's going to look once we put the light colors on the base. Like, it's always not done until the base is done. But that will make an absolutely monstrous difference. I almost just dropped it. That would have been huge. We haven't had a drop in like an entire stream. Kind of massive for me to just do that right at the bell here. Okay, I do want to do that. Okay, and I do want to paint your arm and your arm. Okay. This is so stressful. What the hell? This is like actually quite stressful to paint this base. All right, all right, all right. We're doing the hand. Okay. Good shit, good shit. Let's do over here. Okay, this hand can get painted. Surely I can make it in there with this size brush, with these frayed bristles. We definitely can. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. As I said, I'm not too worried about the vines either, because I'm going to be painting those up separately. And the start of the hand part of the branches, I am going to be blending with the bark. So I can paint over those because I'll be using a much lighter flesh color. So it's going to look like the bark is descending into flesh there at the bottom, which will be cool. And that'll be the only glazing I have to do on this whole model. Which glazing I usually reserve for non-tabletop models, like display models or stuff like that. But I was feeling the itch, you know? I feel like it'll make a real big difference just to even spend that little bit of extra time. Probably going to spend as much time on the base here as I did on the entire rest of the fucking model because of that glazing. But it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to leave that for a slightly better brush. A better brush than I can do that. Fucking paint this though. Okay, and up on there. Up on there. Man, this base is so going to take me a long time. You can just tell. I can see as I'm like doing this layer of, this is not even the, this is like the layer that allows me to paint the layer I need to paint. Like this is, oh god, so much involved in this. Okay, a little hand, yes, yes. A little hand poking out there. But yeah, as I'm going around here, it's fully setting in. This is like an entire project in its own right. Oh man. That is a lot of painting. Okay. Add me on Discord. Help me to. Thanks, robot. Little robot spam action. Come on, get in there. Yeah. All right. Good. Okay. We should now be kind of at the point where I just need the smaller brush to get in on some of the smallest parts where I don't want to hit the bark. So let's go around and do that, like here. As I said, I'm not too worried about those vines. They'll be fine. Because I'm going to repaint those anyway. But the rest of the bark there, I've got to be pretty careful. Oh, yeah, I was so close to a drop. You've all been waiting for it, I know. You've all been waiting for my Skrillex moment where I drop the fucking base. Okay, there we go. Let's get that on there. Oh man, that stone face is just poking out from underneath that root right there. Just poking out. Oh, fuck that. That's really difficult. Holy shit. Okay, let's go in there. Let's get in there then. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. All right. Ronnie Coleman did not lie to me. There is literally nothing to it but to do it. Okay, there we go. Is that... No, that's tangled roots. That's fine. But that is a hand. That is a little hand in there. Don't think I didn't see you. Okay, and that bit there. Is that a stone? No, it's not. Okay, cool. All right. That is the base coat. The very base coat. Awesome. Now, the very next thing I have to do, assuming that the white has dried here, is I am about to put on the glow effect that will form the base layer. Has that dried? Yes, it has. That will form the base layer of the glow that I'm going to establish. Now, Tesseract glow is a pretty aggressive... Oh my god. That took a while to even fucking free up there. Tesseract Glow is a pretty aggressive glow effect paint, and I love it. So let's let's do that. You got to have mixing balls in that shit, though. Holy shit, Tesseract Glow does not cooperate. Return of the absolutely mangled brush. We love him. And you're going to be pretty fucking liberal with your application of this bad boy. Pretty fucking liberal. There is not going to be any doubt in your mind where you have applied this glow effect. And this is going to establish our lantern light shade, because no matter how close it is to the lantern, it cannot be brighter than this. So any shade or shadow, fucking painting the base made this so much harder, is going to be brighter than this shade established here in the lantern. That's important. Okay. And you want to cover any of the areas where the white has obviously spilled over as well. Very important. All right. This one is also kind of diabolical for splatter. So, like, be careful with your bristle strokes here. If splatter gets away from you on this one, it can be kind of bad. Okay. So applying this more in a patting motion is what I'm trying to say. You know, rather than a brush stroke as it was. Don't be too worried about, as I said, being a little messy with this one. It's at the very least going to be easy to cover or correct, and at the most, it may actually help you, because it'll be like natural light spilling out from the lantern. Now, I like this glow effect paint for Kingdom Death. I actually hate it for the game in which it was made. I think it's nowhere near bright enough for a Warhammer 40k setting. I know it's the grim dark, but like shit over there is popping. You got like fucking pink bad guys, dude. Come on now. What are you talking about with this like almost orange paint? You know, liven it up a bit. But for Kingdom Death, it is exactly what the doctor ordered. It is just enough to be like a wimpy lantern. Ideal. There we go. Gosh, still got so many lanterns. Gonna have to shake this bad mamma jamma back up. This paint like does not like being mixed. It is a fiend for separating. Be mindful of that as well if you are using this effect paint. This is nowhere near as friendly as Blood for the Blood God. This is really kind of obnoxious, actually. Kind of one of the worst paints, like use feel wise, that I can actually think of. Feels like you're applying like actual just water, and it does not stay pigment in solution for more than like 2 minutes, and you have to remix it. If you're not putting mixing balls in this as well, you're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. I'm such a shill for mixing balls, dude. Everyone has mixing balls in all their paints in my ideal universe. And those who don't, they're weeded out, disposed of like the trash they are. All right, we are getting to the point where we've done 10 lanterns, and then we've only got the one hanging brain over there. And as I said, as you can see here, we've been fairly fucking aggressive with this texture paint. It is pooling on the lantern, and that is exactly what we want. Good, I got it around there. And let's just do this last free hanging lantern. Excellent, excellent. Now, after I've done this, the last thing I might do before we call it quits, and it'll only be one more painting session for this one, I feel. But before we do that, the last thing I'll do is I might actually see if we can't put some of the white over the base there. The reason being, I've got white paint out at the moment, and if we leave it on a wet palette, anyone who knows how white paint behaves, yet another beautiful benefit of painting with fucking white is that if you keep it on a wet palette, it will just denature. And people will go, oh, you can just mix it back up on the palette. You fucking can't, you liar. It is it is beyond repair at that point. So I might just do a little bit of white on the base, just use up the white that we have there. Let me use that brush. It's already started to fucking fall apart. Even the goated white that is AK Interactive, bro. You're not gonna hear me hanging much shit on that white, but damn. Even that one can't escape the curse of being a white paint. Ah, oh, beautiful. Nice big chunk. We love white. Hell yeah. Like, oh, thin it with water. Yes. Like I do with everything. Like I do with all paints all the time. Do you think it helps? No. Even over gray, bro. Look at the like, and this is the premier white paint in my estimation. And even this shit is struggling. White paint, man. I tell you. Why did I choose to do the stone faces white? Why did I not predict that every fucking model from Kingdom Death would have stone faces on the base in some ridiculous capacity? Why did I not predict that I would have to match them to the very early survivors where I painted with white on stone faces? I don't know, bro. I don't know, but I'm really fucking regretting that decision, aren't I? That'll show me for choosing like a cool horror white themed stone faces motif. Realistically, I've only got a little bit of white left on this, so I'm not going to get super far here with these ones. Oh, good. We hit a bit of grey. Nice. It wasn't dry. Huge. All right. I think that is maybe one more. Maybe one more bit. Maybe one more little stone face gets a bit of white on it. All right. Cool. Let's have a look at this under some more warm lighting. So we got quite a bit done there. We've picked out most of the accessories now on the tree. So it is looking a little bit more like a tree now. What we have next to do is we will do the stone faces, essentially in white, shade them up. So let me tell you, we're going from the gray here that we have. We're going to paint white over them. I hit them with a down shade, and then I'm going to pick out the white as well. Then we're going to use any of these little hands here. I'm going to paint them like flesh, and I'm going to blend them essentially in with the roots. So I'm going to use some glazes, and then we'll pick out the vines and these little leaves and stuff like that in here. and I'll make them a little bit more vibrant color. So it's going to pop. I have a feeling that I might make the vines themselves red, but like a slightly redder red than the talons, a brighter red, sorry, and make them almost like blood vessels coming up from the ground. But we did have a bit of progress. We also do have to paint the fucking object source lighting, which will be lovely. So thank you everyone for coming out, Patreon supporters keeping the lights on with their huge pendulous wangs. That has been a